Dwane Casey, will he be back as head coach next season? He had a quote earlier, and I don't remember the whole thing, but he had one little part in there that got people talking, and he was talking about next year.
Yeah, I can read you that quote if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I saw this quote from Mike Curtis, and I was like, okay, it's kind of like a hint that the Pistons aren't probably going to move on for him. So this is the quote. This is Dwane Casey on making mistakes next season. He said, "You don't get any playing time if you continue to make the same mistakes." He said, "This year, we've allowed guys to play through some mistakes. Next year, there's not going to be any excuses."
He's back. He's coming back next year. That's what that means.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of like, I don't know, you can assume he's back from that quote. But like I said, Tom Gores could just, be Tom Gores and say, hey, I want to win. I've been rebuilding since we traded Andre Drummond, and we haven't really, won anything. But I don't really think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to let him finish out his contract. And I know Pistons fans don't want to hear that. I think there's a bulk of Pistons fans. I would probably say at least 85% of Pistons fans that just want to move on. They want a fresh face. They want some new blood in there. And, you can't really blame them. Casey did have a interview with the Toronto Sun talking about how, doing a rebuild or being a coach during a rebuild is miserable because, development can get very dark. You don't get a whole lot of wins. And he kind of like opened up about it of like how it's been really tough on him mentally of trying to just coach these guys and, develop them and try to get winning habits. But he's like, you don't get a whole lot of winning habits when you have 16 wins. So,
True.
I feel for him, but like I said, I won't be surprised if he's, the head coach, next season.
Look, I'm with that 85%. I want to see someone new. I just don't think it happens this year, this offseason. It's going to be Dwane Casey. I strongly believe he deserves an opportunity to coach the Detroit Pistons when they are healthy. They are not healthy this year. He deserves that opportunity. And I mean, the only reason I'm saying he deserves, it's not like he's an incredible coach. He's just under contract. He got the team to the playoffs with Blake Griffin. It's been a rebuild for a couple of seasons now. He deserves an opportunity to win a few games and go out on a high note. That is the fair thing to do with Dwane Casey. Because, look, they're not winning anything anyways next year. So who cares if he's there or not? As long as, guys keep making progress and developing, that is all I'll ask for. I want a few more wins next year, too. Give me a chance at the play-in, too, with a healthy roster, with the development. I'm okay with it. But Coach Casey, I'm confident he'll be back next season as the head coach.
Yeah, so do I. I'm not really surprised by it. I mean, there's not really, marquee names available. I mean, you talk to Pistons fans, like, let's go get Mark Jackson. I mean, you could take a shot at it. I mean, the Kings interviewed him. It was between him and Mike Brown, and they chose Mike Brown, and I don't think they've regretted it at all. Like I said, they're one of the best teams in the Western Conference, so shout out to them for that. But I mean, outside of Mark Jackson, I'm like, who are names that are like really available? I mean, we had James Edwards on. He mentioned Juwan Howard from Michigan. I don't want Juwan Howard towards even like being the Pistons coach because he can't even coach Michigan basketball, man. Like he's getting top recruits and they didn't even make the tournament this year, man. Like I don't want Juwan Howard near the Pistons. I love Juwan Howard. I just don't want him anywhere near the Pistons. James mentioned Jay Wright. I doubt Jay Wright is going to coach the Detroit Pistons. I doubt that's going to happen.
And I also wonder how it would be tough for Jay Wright to implement a system into the NBA. I feel like a lot of those college coaches they're really good at the college game because they're, the young people still look up to them and they have they can hold players accountable more in college than you can in the NBA. So when you're trying to write a tighter offensive system where it requires a little bit more discipline, you have to be able to get on guys. I don't feel like you can do that in the NBA when guys are making way more money than you and people are paying to see them. I just don't think it would really work. But, again, Dwane Casey, think he's going to be back next season.